this is my review of Jojo's Bizarre Adventure. Okay, so this episode kind of confirms my answer. How do you defeat somebody as a child? You think like a child, basically. So the episode starts out with Alessi having caught up to Polnareff and proceeds to try and drown him after pinning Silver Chariot to the wall with his own stand. He tries to drown Polnareff. Polnareff gets smart by trying to pull the drain, but Alessi gets smart too and uses Polnareff's hair to block the drain, thereby causing it to drain a lot slower. And Polnareff, struggling and unable to actually reach Alessi's face and stop him from drowning him, decides instead to use his poop as a projectile. And it works. I kid you not. He uses his poop kicks it into Alessi's face, and Alessi, from the shock, lets go of Polnareff, and Polnareff is able to catch a breath and stop drowning. At which point, Polnareff attempts to figure out where it is that the woman who helped him actually went, but eventually gets his answer, and it's not for the faint of heart. So it is revealed that Alessi used his stand set to actually revert her age, and because she was in his stand for several seconds, she reverted into a fetus. I kid you not. The fact that she reverts into a fetus, and he explains that since she is not in her mother's womb, she will eventually die if Alessi isn't defeated quickly. So Polnareff is on a time limit. He has to defeat Alessi and revert the effects of his stand before the woman dies. So he attempts to do exactly that. He scoops her upper body, runs into one of the other rooms in order to try and buy himself some time, but in the process gets tagged by Zack several more times, reverting from an 8-year-old to a 3-year-old. So yeah, his stand gets progressively weaker, but he does eventually lock himself in one of the rooms and tries to think of a way to get away from Alessi without figuring out how to actually escape with him with the baby in hand. Or, well, baby in air quotes, but he realizes quickly that he can't go out the window since the bars are too thick, and since his stand is now 3 years old as well, the Silver Chariot isn't going to do him too much good there. So he eventually comes up with a brilliant idea, and I'll explain what it is in a minute. But in any case, Alessi finally breaks into the room with his axe in a scene very reminiscent of The Shining, and breaks in and bashes his way into the room, but finds out that Polnareff isn't in the room at all, and tries to figure out where he's hiding. He notices there are several different hiding places where he could be, but fails to find any single one of them, and Polnareff is in fact not hiding in any of them. At which point, Polnareff reveals that he actually came up with a pretty brilliant strategy to hide from Alessi. He actually hauled out a beach ball, hit his head inside, then used a mirror to reflect his body so that it looked like he wasn't actually in the fish tank, when in actuality he was, and then proceeds to cut up Alessi's face with Silver Chariot, pointing out that while his stand is a lot weaker, he can still do it at the very least. Alessi, panicking that his face is now ruined, runs out of the room and eventually jumps out one of the windows, with Polnareff in hot pursuit, though Polnareff loses one of his earrings in the process. So Alessi jumps out of one of the windows, but unfortunately lands at the feet of Jojo, who isn't entirely sure what's going on, but suspects that this guy is a bit suspicious. So Alessi tries to play it cool and pretend that he's a housekeeper who just fell out one of the windows rather clumsily. But Polnareff shows up and tries to warn Jojo about what is actually happening from the window. But since he's unable to remember Jojo's name, as was established last episode, that gives Alessi enough time to actually revert Jojo back into a child. So Jojo is revealed to not be able to use his stand anymore, since he only just acquired his stand recently. And it's explained that if people didn't have their stands when they were younger, they can't use them anymore. However, this doesn't deter Jojo because he's freaking Jojo and just runs up and punches Alessi right in the face as a kid. I kid you not, and then just finishes him off with his bare hands rather than with a stand. So methinks Jojo was a bit of a problematic child when he was little. If he was able to get into a bit of if he was this scrappy as a kid, I fear for his poor mother and father. I seriously do. But yeah. But yeah, he finishes off Alessi, who passes out, and since he passed out, the effects of his stand got reverted, and he wakes up to find the combined force of Polnareff and Jojo, who then using their combined stands to send him flying into the stratosphere, and he's forced to retire. So Jojo and Polnareff leave to go meet up with the rest of the group. However, the woman, who has just reverted back to a normal woman now and is no longer a fetus, goes looking for him, having realized what exactly happened, and goes to try and find baby Polnareff. But since she doesn't recognize him as an adult, she doesn't realize that it's actually him she's talking to. And while he dismisses the fact that he is actually the child, and dismisses that they have never met before, and to protect her, I guess, because it's implied that he has developed feelings for her, and he wants to protect her because he knows what kind of wacky stuff he's going to be getting into, and wants to spare her feelings, because Polnareff has actually grown quite a lot. So because it was this woman who took him in and took care of him as a child that enabled him to open his eyes and figure out what genuine love was. So he finally figured out what genuine love for and affection for a woman actually is in this episode, which is a big turning point for his character, because up to this point he's been a bit of a womanizer who just chases every single woman that wanders into his gaze. So up to this point we haven't seen him actually grow any maturity in that respect, but after this episode he has. This is the first woman he actually has genuine affection towards, and not just some woman who is just, there, and he just immediately tries to flirt with her. No, this is a woman he actually loves, and it's reflected in his actions because he's trying to protect her. But she figures it out anyway after realizing that Polnareff happens to be missing an earring, and it happens to be the same exact earring as the pair that she found. So she found the earrings match. She put two and two together. She eventually realized it was the child, but because Polnareff dismissed it, she realized that maybe it was her imagination after all. But the implication is that she, at the very least, suspects that Polnareff is indeed lying to her. So she does at the very least suspect that she's lying to her to protect her. So there's that. So in any case, Jojo actually sees what Polnareff did for the woman, and actually comforts him and gives him a pat on the back. Jojo is actually proud. He's a man of few words, but he means the words he says. And he doesn't even need to say any of it. You can tell he's proud of Polnareff for what he did. So yeah, in any case, they meet up with the rest of the group, who are equally trying to figure out what exactly happens to the other half of the group and Iggy, who just randomly wandered off. But in any case, after they figure out what exactly went on, they decide to go get something to eat. And while they're going to get something to eat, they decide to use Joseph's abilities to create another spirit photograph, pointing out that they're closer now and it should work. And it does. They get an actual picture of what the building where Dio's hanging out is. So they know where Dio is. They just have to find the building that he's hanging out in. So yeah, now they have an actual idea of where he is. They just need to find the building, but they don't know where the building is in Cairo. So they'll have to work on it a little bit. But yeah, in any case, they're getting closer to Dio, and they have an actual clue. They know where he is now. It's just that, he's in Cairo somewhere. We don't know where he is, but we'll find him eventually if we just know where to look. And now they know where to look, so now they can actually find him now. But yeah, this episode was a big turning point for Polnareff's character. He's grown a lot now, literally and figuratively, because of how this episode works. But yeah, in any case, Polnareff has grown a lot since he now has developed genuine feelings for a woman, instead of just, hey, this woman's hot, I'll ask her out. That was basically what these last two episodes did. They caused him to actually mature a bit as a character. Quite literally, because he was a child for the longest time in these last couple of episodes. But in any case, I liked this episode. It was an interesting conclusion to the two-parter. It was interesting in the aspect that it made Polnareff's character a little bit interesting, because now he actually has developed genuine feelings for a woman, and it shows that Jotaro, regardless of what age he is a badass. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, then what did you guys think? Let's get a discussion going in the comment section down below, or over on my Discord server, link in the description. In either way, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, be sure to follow me on Facebook and on Twitter in the description below. And also check out my Patreon in the description below as well. It's only a couple bucks a month. It really helps me out, and you guys get access to a bunch of cool perks that I'm right away saying thanks. So be sure to check those out in the description below as well. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace!